Good morning. I am Melanie Delorme, author of After the Flowers Die, that I wrote in memory of my son Garrett. And in Monday Morning Message number 61, I would like to talk about Remembrance Day and how it has changed for me since Garrett died. Last Monday was Remembrance Day. And I know I should have posted this message on that day, but something about doing that felt wrong to me. And then when I didn't do it, I kind of regretted it. So I'm still going to, even though it's a week after Remembrance Day, I still want to talk about it because it really has affected me a lot. I'm almost embarrassed to tell you that probably for at least 5 years after Garrett died, I didn't attend a Remembrance Day service. And it had nothing to do with me not being patriotic and me not remembering the sacrifices that were made for Canada's freedom. I was an emotional wreck when I tried to attend a service. And I tried a couple times. And I remember the first one in particular. We recited the poem For the Fallen by Lawrence Binyon. There's a verse in that poem that goes, "They will not grow old as we are left to grow old. And at the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them." And at that point in that first service, I got up and left. And I was an emotional wreck because part of me felt really guilty for not being able to sit through that service and pay my respects to the people who sacrificed so much for me, because I felt like as though I was making this all about me and my son who died, not in any connection to a war. And that I had this voice in my head that said, for heaven's sakes, it isn't about you. You need to be able to attend this service. And I felt guilty about it for a long time. And it was probably about 5 years before I attended a full service. And then I realized why it felt so hard. I began to connect to Remembrance Day on an entirely different level. Because now not only was it about paying my respects to those who served and still serve and sacrifice for Canada's freedoms, I now thought of the hundreds of thousands of parents who were left to deal with the aftermath of their sons and daughters never coming home. Especially at a time when, as a society, we didn't deal well with grief. We had a hard time saying loved ones' names out loud and being in the space with someone who was grieving. And thinking about that during those services just absolutely breaks my heart. And so as much as to me now, those services are about paying respects to those who served, I have so much respect for their parents and their families who carried on. Because it doesn't matter if your son or daughter died as a hero. They still died. And that poem that I recited earlier speaks to me on so many different levels, because it is about remembering Canada's past and being thankful. But partly, to me, it is about remembering all of our loved ones who are no longer with us. Thank you for being here today. Have a nice week, and I will talk to you next Monday.